out there. All right, so I'm chuckling because of a few things. I know I've said this in the past, but I use my radio as like a crystal ball kind of thing sometimes. So when I get in, what's playing is the song Heaven from Bryan Adams. Kind of old school, but hey, Heaven. And then I just happen to be up, of course, running errands, of course. And I'm seeing all the folks jogging with their pets or babies. And the funny thing is, okay, so I see this guy jogging with his baby in a stroller, and it's probably like a toddler, like maybe 2 years old, maybe three. And luckily, the baby has a blanket because that baby was like, "Why am I out here?" He's trying to cover up with the blanket, and the guy is just jogging. But yeah, and that kind of leads right into the topic of habits. Um, and just I think a lot of people want to develop good habits, but I think most times because we're programmed into the negative of things, that we think that we have to I know I'm going to say this wrong, but get rid of a habit. But what you're really doing is replacing a habit. So in order to have a change, you've got to do a replace. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to stop doing something." You've got to replace it with something else. Okay? That increases the chances for success. Because if you just say, "I'm going to stop watching television," all right, then what you going to do then? How you going to fill your time, right? So that's a perfect example. So if you're not going to watch television excessively, then what are you going to working? I'm running errands because of a couple of things, and I'm going to do another short or live on some spiritual elements in a moment. But when it comes to changing a habit, you've got to also associate it, I hope, with something good and positive. And that can also be how you can reframe certain feelings and thinkings of things too. And that's where NLP comes into play. So NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. And from what I remember, I think it was a system developed in the 1990s, I think, or a little bit earlier. And I'm still doing some deep dives on the history of it. Okay. But what basically it is, and it's how a lot of advertisers use certain things to program people into wanting or craving or desiring something. They associate some words with feelings and sensory reactions in your body. Like, and if trying to think of a good example. Okay, food commercials. Okay, so think of, like, I guess macaroni and cheese. Like, everybody likes macaroni and cheese, right? So when they do the commercials, of course they do the funny ones or whatever for the kids. But then if you're trying to get an adult to want macaroni and cheese and they like macaroni and cheese, so first of all, you're gonna say macaroni and cheese a lot, right? And then you're gonna do things like describe what it looks like and have pictures of the cheese dripping. Like, see, I'm making a visual, saying visual words. And if the person was doing the commercial, would also have pictures of the cheese up close dripping, and like vapors of heat coming off of the cheese, so that makes you want it, right? So that's a part of, and when you say the words juicy, uh, creamy, like, those kinds of words, that is making you want the macaroni and cheese. So when you say it enough times and you show the pictures and then you say the words creamy, decadent, it makes people want those things. But you can also do that for yourself in your change of habits. Okay? Um, And I'm also doing that. And thanks to Magneticus out there. So I'll probably tag him in this video because yesterday he was kind of already alluding to what and him, like my brother is having from mental illness, and he's starting to develop new habits. So in order for me to help him, I have to replace habits that we don't like with things that are better, right? And also associating words, certain words and actions with more pleasant feelings, kind of thing. And so Magneticus, which I've known him for a while online, and he's a bit of a genius, by the way. So I'm gonna just tell y'all, if you don't subscribe to his channel, you need to, because this man, he's pretty smart. But anyway, he mentioned, oh, he put up the words, have you tried NLP or something like that? And I was like, oh, funny you say that, because yes, I am doing that. I have a background in communications, and even though we did not technically study NLP in college, me that is, um, I did take a lot of advertising and marketing classes, and so I know like um, some bit of psychology around desiring things, wanting things. So yeah, NLP. All right, so I'm trying to quickly make a run to the bank, which is actually a good thing. Okay, so I'm gonna end this live. I'll talk more about NLP. Drop in the comments. What are you curious about? What kind of habits would you want to replace with better habits? Okay, I know a lot of people do things like overeating or overspending or mindless scrolling, that kind of thing. So, just let me know. Meanwhile, I'm about to put some currency into the bank. Alrighty, currency, because money goes and flows always. That's also another thing. I'm not a master at it, but I'm working on it. So my money magic is working. Okay, I'm working it. All right, so take care out there, and I will actually make a short right now about how I practice money magic. All right, take care. Bye, friends.